welcome to Zeng This. You got me, Zenger.
And I'm Ellie.
And I don't know if we do this enough, but we like to welcome any new listeners we have. And of course, thank the old listeners that have been with us as well. And the reason we're doing that is because if you are tuning into this and you just came from Tales from the Fandom with David Ginsburg, we were just on his show this week talking about the podcast as well as stuff that we're fans of. And that was a lot of fun to record with him.
Yeah.
And if you did not just come from that, definitely go check out Tales from the Fandom, where we were actually on this week with him. So that was a lot of fun to record with him. He was really fun to talk to. Ellie had a lot of fun poking fun at me.
Like always.
So definitely check that out. Once again, that is Tales from the Fandom. And once again, if you're coming here from that, welcome. Or if you're just new to listening to the podcast, welcome. So with that, let's get into some stuff. It's been pretty busy in the world of...
Pretty heavy.
Yeah, in the world of geek and news-related stuff. So I think this has been going around for a while. It's just I've been seeing a little bit more about it recently. Apparently, they're going to be re-releasing Logan.
Nice.
In black and white. Possibly. Which I think that would be a very interesting thing that would, I guess... We say movies on the podcast normally, but that would make it, I guess, the quote-unquote film at that point. It would be more of a film experience as opposed to a movie experience.
Right.
Jump that genre there. What do you think about Logan being in black and white?
I think it would be interesting. I don't want to see stuff all the time in black and white, but it would be a neat perspective, definitely.
I definitely would like that as a feature on, I don't know, the Blu-ray. Definitely could put that on there. Yes. You can just switch out the color, or you just turn off the color on your TV too. I guess if you really wanted it.
You could make your own black and white experience.
There you go. So we've got Guardians of the Galaxy, which will be out at the end of this week. I do have some stuff from that I could talk about. I'm going to wait, though, for it to be more confirmed about just some stuff that I've heard. And we haven't gotten to see it yet, so it's one of those I'd rather see with my own eyes and talk about it first.
Right.
So, but apparently Vin Diesel has shown interest in a Groot spinoff, or movies focusing more on Groot. Wonder how that would go, considering his vocabulary consists of I, am, and Groot in that order.
Well,
exclusively in that order.
Yes, it would have to have Rocket with him.
I think it would be interesting and a lot of fun. It just depends. I mean, I don't know if Marvel... I'm not saying Marvel's desperate for ideas right now, but I don't know. I'm just... It's cool that he's really embracing this character.
Well, no, I mean... from the Marvel side, it's not that they're desperate. It's just they're wanting to make money. And, you got to cash in while it's hot, so... Speaking
of making money, their co-star, Chris Pratt, wants to extend his contract.
That's fine with me.
I don't think it's over money, though. I think it's over he wants to continue to play Star-Lord and wants to lock in, guaranteed X number of films.
Well, he's great at it.
So. He does a fantastic job. Like I said, really excited to see the new film. It's getting reviews in and everything, and they're pretty positive for the most part. So, I mean, maybe we'll be covering that very shortly on the podcast. But yeah, so that's kind of some Marvel news real quick, and actually just more Guardians news. Mm-hmm. But now let's jump over to the DC side of things. And I know this has probably been talked about before, but I don't know, I just kind of want to mention this now. Teen Titans TV show, possibly. Live action Teen Titans, as well as Young Justice, will officially be coming back on DC's new streaming service they're introducing. So,
I don't think that's going to be very hard to do.
So that's interesting with the Young Justice. But as for the live action Teen Titans, I know you're a fan.
Oh yeah.
Who would you like to see portrayed in that? Since there's no real rights issues with DC on who can.
Which characters?
Yeah. What. Like, I mean, there's tons of characters to choose from with Teen Titans, so I guess let's limit each of us to 3 each. How about that?
I mean, mine are probably going to be boring, because I love the main ones. I have to have Raven.
Okay.
It's hands down. Beast Boy.
All right.
And, gosh, I love all of them. Robin. I can't have it without Robin.
Hold on, which Robin though?
I know.
Now, the only reason I ask that is, would it be Dick Grayson, or would we possibly? I don't know if they'd let them do Nightwing though,
Yeah.
or even have Robin in it. I mean, I kind of
Well,
feel
I mean, and in the cartoon, Nightwing's not a huge part of it. He's in it, but it's
you
more
mean
Robin.
in the Teen Titans one from a few years
Right,
back.
yeah, not Go.
Not the Go or the more recent
Right.
straight to home video ones.
Oh, I was just talking about the Go and the regular one, not all the animated movies and all that stuff. Yeah.
If they had Robin, I'd rather have it to where it was one of the other ones, not Dick Grayson, so that you could have Nightwing possibly pop in for an episode or two.
And when I read the Teen Titans comics, there's a lot of really cool characters that they have in there too. Oh, I can't remember the one lady's name. She would be kind of cool.
Which one?
It's in the New 52 run.
Wonder Girl?
Is it Wonder Girl? It might be Wonder Girl. It's possible. I don't know. There's so many good ones. I'm just going to stick with the classics, Beast Boy, Raven, and Robin.
All right. I would probably go with... I definitely like Starfire. That would be cool because I don't see us getting a live-action version of her any other way, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
I don't see her being integrated into anything else. Cyborg, of course, we will see integrated, even though he's kind of more with the comics now, affiliated with the Justice League.
He is. Yeah.
He's
grown up a little.
As I said, I'd like to see Nightwing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well.
Maybe not as part of the team, but as a mentor that would come in every now and then.
Yes, that would be really cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
And I guess, let me go with the left field one here real quick. He's been on the team here and there, but Superboy would kind of be cool. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of up to whichever one. I mean, because you've got several different ones to choose from. You've got Superman's legitimate son right now, who is the current Superboy. So that would be cool. Or you could do Connor Kent as well, who was the one that was in the New 52. I think he's not in existence right now, if I remember correctly, in the comics.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, that would kind of be a cool one. Or they could just mix it up and have some other people on it, too.
Oh, well, like I said, just from the comic books that I've read from the New 52, there's so many characters in there.
I guess they probably wouldn't do Superboy because they probably want to distance themselves from for the Young Justice stuff. So they probably want to distance themselves and use more exclusive to the Titan ones. But
Wasp is the character that was in the show, the Teen Titans cartoon.
Blue Beetle's been one that they've been pushing heavily recently. So but once again, he's Young Justice, been featured in that.
Yeah, so.
Well, anyways, we've got more news to talk about.
We could go on and on about Teen Titans.
We could talk about Teen Titans all day. So we have a possibility of another video game movie. Well, actually, not a possibility. It is happening, allegedly. The Rock is going to be in Rampage the game. Rampage the movie, sorry. Based on the game Rampage.
I gotcha.
Which, if you don't remember what that game was, it was one where you basically turned into, like, giant monsters of some sort and just destroyed buildings.
How are they going to do that into a movie?
I don't know.
Okay.
But
I mean, I feel like it's going to have to be like a Godzilla type movie.
I feel like it's a comical version of that.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying.
Would be what they have to do. Now, here's the thing. I'm not trying to start... I know we've discussed this in the past on a previous episode, and we probably will discuss it in the future again, but video game movies don't really have the best rap in the world.
No, they don't.
But apparently The Rock has said that he wants to change that.
If anybody can change it, The Rock can change it.
And on top of that, since we just got done with DC, he's supposed to be Black Adam.
Yep.
In that as well, what's going on with that? Can I get an on-set photo? Just something.
Yeah.
Something would be cool, but who knows what's happening with that? I can look up stuff on it, but it's kind of probably in the same limbo it's been in for a while. And he apparently, I'm sorry to talk about The Rock for a second. I don't think
you can always talk about The Rock.
I was about to say, I don't think you're upset about that, but he apparently wants to have Black Adam be more of a he's an anti-hero. Mm-hmm. Which he isn't. He's a hero when he feels like it in the comics. Most of the time he's a villain, but sometimes if it suits his needs, he will do whatever he wants. So I don't know. I think that's interesting. I kind of would like the Rock to be just complete villain in something though.
Yeah, he plays too many good guy roles.
He does. The only one
I want to see him break out.
I mean, he started out with the Scorpion King, if we have to mention that. Well, in The Mummy Returns as the Scorpion King, but I guess that was sort of villain-esque.
Yeah.
Who would you say is one of your favorite actors from the Jurassic Park movies? Minus Jurassic World, I'm not letting you include that. Because you obviously say Chris Pratt.
I was going to say, you know who I'm going to say?
Who we just got done discussing.
Well, the dude that talks about the theory and he has the cup with the water.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yes. He's awesome.
Dr. Malcolm. Will be returning, actually, for Jurassic World 2.
Well, heck yeah.
And apparently he has a food truck he has right now.
That is fantastic. In real life?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, is he going to have a food truck in the movie?
Sorry, I'm just thinking of the chase scene with the T-Rex with a food truck instead.
Right. Oh, what kind of food does he fix?
It's sausages, I think.
Oh.
I think it's like sausages or something.
Okay.
I don't know. I just kind of saw that mentioned about it. So that's
nice. Well, that is a popular thing nowadays, are food trucks.
So yes, that's definitely a fun thing. So as we all know, I'm a fan of certain older 80s, I guess, era cartoons. But there's one I knew about and I kind of liked. I just never really got into it. But apparently, it's going to be making a big screen re-debut. He-Man.
No. Son of Zorn.
Yeah.
Love that show, guys, by the way.
So apparently that's getting a release in, I believe, the near future. And by near future, I mean within the next 4 to 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So, or, no, wait, sorry.
We're going to do She-Ra too, or just He-Man?
Did you ever watch She-Ra?
I did watch She-Ra.
I remember He-Man. I just remember Skeletor kind of in the Power Grayskull, and that's I know the meme-worthy stuff, I guess, from it now. I know they did a few reboots, a reboot of it recently, and of course, I know we're not mentioning it, but there was the live-action one with Dolph Lundgren.
Oh my gosh, yes. Wow. Yes. Sorry.
So, I guess we got that to look forward to if you're a fan of 80s cartoons, and Transformers is to Michael Bay. For you, Michael Bay sound. Always the explosions.
Yes.
Moving on. So, we got some video game stuff to talk about real quick. I know this is probably something you're not the most excited about, but I'm going to mention it. So, they really...
Ellie smirks.
Actually, this is not a... This except for the last thing I think we're going to discuss in the video game part of our news, is probably the least favorite Ellie video game-related discussion.
You must be talking about Call of Duty.
Yes, the Call of Duty trailer, we did kind of brief on it last week, but they did release a trailer.
Not knocking it, though. I know it's very popular with a lot of people, so it's just not mine.
They're going back to World War II.
Yep.
Which I think is a good move for them to do that. I'm not saying anything negative or positive about it. I'm just saying I think it's an interesting move. They're doing D-Day invasion on the beach, which hasn't been done for a very long time, and I'd like to see that with updated graphics. That might be good. So I'm interested, but it's a Call of Duty game, so it's one of those when it's on sale for me. It's not a...
Have to get it release day.
Bingo.
Right.
Now, on the opposite side of that fence, something I will probably want to get on release day, if not the $200 collector's edition,
Marvel vs. Capcom
Infinite, which the collector's edition is supposed to come with statues, little infinity stones.
So expensive, though.
I know, but I mean, I like what I've seen so far.
Right.
It's supposed to have Ultron in it, so that's really cool. And it looks like it's going to have an interesting storyline behind it, where it's kind of melding the two worlds.
Right.
They haven't announced the full character roster. Chris Redfield, Chun-Li, Ryu, Captain Marvel, Hulk.
I'll probably be more interested in just watching you play it.
Well, there's a character that I thought of that I'm kind of like, I really hope they put him in because it's one I keep forgetting they have the rights to.
Okay.
Azura from Azura's Wrath.
Oh, yeah.
He would be cool to have in there. He would be great.
He would be overpowered.
Well, then you've got him, and of course you got Thor and other people, and the
I'm
Hulk,
just saying, Azura's Wrath
That game was over the top.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
But he would be cool to have in there. If anyone is listening, I'd like for him to be in there. That would be a fun character to have from the Capcom side.
They are definitely listening to us.
I hope. And on that note, I wonder which Wolverine they're going to have. Since currently he's quote-unquote dead in the comics, I wonder if they're going to have...
Maybe...
They had X-23 in the previous game.
Well, maybe they'll have one version of Wolverine and then it'll be a skin.
I think that they'd do it separate. They'd separate them again, because they did in the previous game have... They fought similar, but they did have kind of a little bit more distinct fighting styles. Maybe they'll have Old Man Logan, for all we know. Or maybe they just won't care about what's going on in the comics right now, because the Thor is Odin's son Thor, not Jane Foster Thor. So I'm sure you could probably download packs and stuff that have other skins or other characters. So who knows? We'll see what happens with that. I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. So we're going to move on to Nintendo's recent announcement of a new DS. And I'm saying new both as something that is coming out that's new and as in the confusing title, new 2DS XL. So it is supposed to be like the full-size version, but without the full-size, full screen, same size as the XL, the 3DS XL, or the new 3DS XL, but just does not have the 3D feature, which...
That's fine with me.
Which, 3D feature is nifty,
but I don't care for the 3D feature.
I just feel bad for people working in retail that have to sit there and it's like, do you have the new DS?
Do you have the new or just the new? Yeah,
DS.
Exactly.
It's a little confusing.
It's too much. Nintendo, calm it down. Just calm it down.
Finally, our last little bit of gaming stuff before we get into today's topic. We discussed the other week Telltale Games, and I don't know if we made it clear enough, we were both big fans of Tales from the Borderlands.
Yes.
Well, apparently, May's game with PlayStation Plus is Tales from the Borderlands.
Well, they obviously listen to our podcast.
They obviously must have been listening to our podcast and went, you know what? These guys like that game.
That's right.
Give it to people for free.
That's right. Give it to the people.
Give it to them. So if you have PlayStation Plus and if you want to, you can go back and listen to that previous episode of ours. Definitely check out that game.
Get some Telltale love.
It's definitely a fun game and worth it, whether you pay for it or it's free. That one was definitely one that I thoroughly enjoyed playing.
Right, definitely. So
we had a comment actually on our Facebook page that raised an eyebrow for us, and we are not against giving you guys out there commenting, sending us stuff. If you have any ideas for stuff that you'd like to hear us discuss, we'd love to hear it. We got one from Paul, who is also the host of the very popular Varmints podcast from Blazing Caribou.
Yeah.
And he sent us this comment on our Facebook.
Well, he said, and we have read this before, but we'll read it again. What does Joss Whedon do really, really, really well? The thing that immediately came to my mind was create a character that you fall in love with and then kill him or her.
So we decided to have our discussion today based around, I know one of your favorite writers and directors. Yes. I like him as well, but you're a bigger fan than I am. I can say that.
Yes.
Definitely, of his work. We're going to discuss Joss Whedon.
Yes.
And we also have a comment, another little thing from Paul, because I did ask him what was his favorite thing that Joss Whedon has done. And his response was the first Avengers movie. And he claimed, I'm not going to read his message verbatim. I'm just going to hit the high points on it because I think it's something we'll probably be discussing anyways. Do you want to read it or do you just want me to hit the high points on it real quick?
You can hit the high points. It's fine.
All right, cool. The first Avengers movie, it was almost perfect, had a great combination of humor and action. Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk saved the character because he was recast, and this was basically an attempt at actually trying to get the Hulk right after the lukewarm response to the Edward Norton movie. The Edward Norton version of him.
Yeah.
And he did a great job And he does mention that he'll even forgive him for the Whedon tropes of killing off beloved characters, Agent Coulson, even though he was brought back, which we will probably be discussing we'll be discussing a little bit more in detail. I just wanted to point out this was one of his favorite things that Joss Whedon has done was the Avengers movie. So with that, let's get into our discussion today. We do have a few other comments, but we'll save those for the end. We just wanted to do Paul's right now because
he's the one that suggested
suggested this topic.
Yes.
Okay, let's do this for
Where do you dive in?
Well, I was about to say for any uninitiated into the Whedonverse.
Yes.
What stuff has Joss Whedon done? I mean, we already mentioned the Avengers, but I'm sure you'd love to.
I mean, most notably Buffy, of course. Everybody remembers Buffy. That was 7 seasons. Angel, the spinoff from Buffy. Obviously another very popular one. Those probably are the biggest ones. And of course, Firefly and Serenity.
Something you might be a fan of,
yes.
maybe, possibly.
and we'll talk about the the curse of Whedon when it comes to TV shows. Ugh. That obviously that title would be right along there. And he's done a lot of really cool tidbits here and there that we will talk about. But I would say Buffy and Angel and Firefly are what really started the cult that is
the Whedonverse.
Mr. Joss Whedon.
The cult of Whedon.
But I'd like to kind of start out with Joss Whedon. He comes from a very, very talented family. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if a lot of people really, have gotten into that side of him. I love this man. So I just think he's great.
Oh, calm it down.
I know. He's a little opinionated sometimes. He's a little feisty, but who isn't? Nobody's perfect. But his father, Tom, was actually a screenwriter for Electric Company, Golden Girls, Benson. I'm sure everybody knows the Golden Girls pretty much. Mm-hmm. And so that was his father. And his grandfather actually wrote for the Dick Van Dyke Show and Donna Reed Show. So I know that's going back a little ways, but just to kind of give you the caliber of writing talent that is in his family.
Well, wasn't his mother also?
Well, she was a radical feminist.
Okay.
And that's kind of why a lot of times Joss Whedon has, if you want to, that's something I was going to talk about a little bit later. But
oh, okay. I just knew that his mother did some stuff as well.
Mm-hmm. So I just kind of wanted to point that out. It's just the fact that he wasn't a first-generation writer. He's definitely had it for multiple generations in his family. He came by it honest.
He comes from good stock.
Yes, he does. So I don't know if there's anything in particular you wanted to start off with talking about him, but
I'm going to let you kind of spearhead this because, we only mentioned a tidbit of stuff. I'm sure we'll kind of touch on other stuff, but there's a few things in his later career that I like, but there's a few things in his earlier days that people might not know about.
Right.
So that's definitely something interesting. I guess we could kind of cover what he did before he did Buffy and really kind of took off there.
Right. And he's had he's mainly behind the scenes. Most of his stuff is writing, directing, screenplay, that sort of thing. He has done some other stuff here and there. I think this one is pretty funny. He has done some uncredited stuff for some movies.
Okay.
And one of them is Waterworld, which I thought was hilarious. I don't know if we've ever talked about Waterworld. Justin thinks I'm crazy because I actually do like that movie with Kevin Costner.
I know which one you're talking about.
I was like, you're like blankly staring at me. You know what movie I'm talking about, right? Where he recycles his pee on the boat? Come on, it's awesome. It's great. It's great. Okay, well anyway, for all of you terrible movie fans out there, I love Waterworld. And he actually helped on Speed.
These were uncredited script doctor, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Yep, uncredited stuff. And, gosh, there was Roseanne. I know he did some stuff for Roseanne, which...
Staff writer.
Blew my mind, yeah.
Yeah, that one you don't see.
I know. Yeah.
But here's the one I'm interested in. I personally like. He worked on he co-wrote Toy Story.
Yeah.
And restructured a lot of it, including introducing the character of Rex, which was like his little claim to fame of I made this character, which everyone loves Rex.
And who's Rex? Just in case somebody doesn't know.
A dinosaur.
Yes.
Which dinosaurs might come back up in another show. I see a theme here.
I know which one you're talking about.
Speaking of themes, though, something that will come up a lot more in his work is strong female characters. Yes. And he sought a better role for Barbie within the script as well. So that's interesting. That
is very interesting.
So that was his work on Toy Story, which is one I don't think a lot of people know about, possibly.
Yeah. Well, and if we're going to stick to animated type stuff, a couple series that I love is, of course, I love Titan AE. I thought that was fantastic. Really, really good story. And then the 2 Atlantis movies.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. I actually enjoyed the Atlantis movie, the first one. I don't know if I've seen it. The first one I thought was one of those that I saw when I was older, so I got to appreciate a lot of the more adult humor Disney was throwing out.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
Yeah. There was Milo's Return.
Mm-hmm. That was the sequel.
And then Lost Empire.
That was the first one.
Mm-hmm. But I liked both of them. But yeah, he was on that too.
So I guess we should mention it. Alien Resurrection. He apparently worked on the script for that too.
He did, and
strong female character.
I have to say, this is where his attitude comes into play.
All right.
So when he was doing Alien Resurrection, you know how a lot of times the people that write the scripts versus the directors kind of have a little bit of tussle.
Don't see eye to eye.
Well, yeah, because you write something and you envision it, and if you're not also directing it, clearly sometimes the director is going to take what you wrote and maybe do their own impression of it. Apparently, Whedon did not like, there was one particular part that Whedon did not like the way the director took his stance on it, and he got so mad, he went to the bathroom and punched a stall. He punched a dent in the stall because he was so frustrated over what was happening in the movie at the moment. So I think that's awesome. He's hilarious.
All right, so I guess since we're good with the early works, and that's interesting, I did not realize he went and punched some bathroom stalls.
You know, sometimes you just got to take your anger out on a bathroom stall.
Apparently. We're not condoning the actions of taking your anger out on a bathroom stall, by the way.
Only if you really need to.
And if your name's Joss Whedon.
Exactly. We love you.
So, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is
please.
Pivotal TV show for a lot of people.
Well, movie first.
Movie first and then TV show.
Yes.
Definitely developed a lot of characters and definitely also developed his reoccurring casting as well of certain people.
He likes to recast the same actors a lot. Yes. That is definitely something. He gets a little group that he really loves and feels comfortable with, and that's clear. Which I don't think he's the only one that really does that. There's a lot of directors that like to use the same actors.
Oh, yeah.
But with the original Buffy movie as well, he actually walked off set of that movie because he was frustrated by a certain Donald Sutherland.
Oh.
That was playing the Watcher, Buffy's Watcher, Merrick. So...
Interesting.
Yeah, so he has a little bit of a temper he's very passionate.
Yeah, I think that's the better word.
Let's use the right word. Passionate about his writing.
All right, awesome. And I mean, this series went on to be very successful as well and also build very strong female archetypes for a lot of the characters.
The fan base is just crazy. And this was one of the first times that you go from the TV show that's 7 seasons, and they're actually working on the 4th season since the TV show in comic book form. So it's really cool because there's there are series that inspire comic book stories and have their own offshoot stories, that kind of thing. But this is one of the first times they've actually continued the actual season into comic book form. So there has been season 8, 9, and 10, and they're currently working on 11.
That led to Angel.
Yes.
Which...
spin-off for Angel. Mm-hmm.
Which, if you like talk about that, which I know was one of our listeners' mentions for their favorite work, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, and they did 5 seasons of Angel, and I'm sure we're getting ready to get into it, but the Whedon curse with his shows, kind of a lot of people consider Angel as part of that curse, which I don't, but it's just a matter of opinion. Obviously Buffy did so well.
Yeah.
And then Angel came, and then we had some other shows like Firefly and Dollhouse, which I watched both seasons of Dollhouse. But a lot of people started saying there was a curse with Whedon shows just because, they do, how do I say this?
Critically, they're very critical. They're very fan approved.
But they get canceled.
Yes.
Yes.
They have a cult. They all seem to gather a very quick cult following. There we go. There's a good way to put it.
And do you think it's cult following because of the show or just because of who writes it?
Who writes it, I think.
I
think the show contributes, but who writes it?
Because I know I watched Dollhouse just because I knew Whedon did it.
Bingo.
But I did enjoy it. It got a little dry after a while. I can kind of see why it got canceled, that particular one. But Firefly was just doomed from the start. They aired them. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. I just wanted to say something about Angel, because we are definitely moving to Firefly. But
yes.
Apparently the cancellation of Angel, from what I was doing my research on, was kind of Whedon asked them very early on to renew the series. Like, way early on to renew the series, and they basically canceled it. And it is thought that if he did not ask them that early on to renew it, it probably would have been fine.
It's possible.
So
but
that's
once again, it was 5 seasons. Mm-hmm. So for today's standard,
that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. So
then again, I guess he might have felt that not just saying, he might have felt like he had 5 seasons. They were going into their 5th season.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously this is a successful show. It shouldn't be too far out of line to ask for a 6th season guaranteed. Right. So who knows? It's in the past. It definitely moved on to other. He moved on to other stuff, which Firefly is what we'll talk about now.
And just to wrap up on Angel, if you do like that series, there is a lot of comic books for that as well. So if you really did like that show and you want some more Angel, they have done tons of Angel comic books, even some solo runs for Spike and a lot of the other characters from it. So there's a lot of material for you to read if you want to get more of that as well. But yeah, Firefly definitely. Firefly, the problem with Firefly is it was aired on that awful Friday night time slot, and they actually aired the episodes out of order.
Which is not good when you have a continuing narrative.
Yes. So, what the crap?
Some shows have, where certain shows you can watch out of order and it's fine, but
you cannot with this show.
This one had a continuing narrative. Kind of like, some of the episodes didn't really move the plot along, but it was important to know certain things. And that being aired out of order and not even completely airing the series as well. They
did. It was the last 2 episodes.
I believe it is the last 2 that did not get aired.
And I just want to talk about this show, how phenomenal it was. I remember watching it. I actually watched it when it was being aired. Mm-hmm. So I was a fan from the very beginning, and I've watched it I don't know how many times, but it just drew me in so quickly. The casting was phenomenal. I can't even say how great the cast, and we see people play with dinosaurs in this show.
Yes.
Wash.
Yes, Wash, Alan Tudyk.
Yes, he loves Alan Tudyk too.
Yes,
he does cast him a lot.
Alan Tudyk is definitely a great actor and everything. Mm-hmm. I think he did a great job in this. He does a great job in a lot of stuff he does. He did great in Moana.
Yeah.
As the chicken.
Yes, I love it.
And also he was, of course, the voice and actual in on-set character of K2SO in the Rogue One movie.
And he was in Dollhouse.
Yes,
he
did. We're not gonna. I mean,
yeah.
We just wanted to mention that as stuff that you might not know. I did not know he played the voice of the chicken.
Right.
To be honest, I would not have guessed that unless somebody told me and I saw it. It was not something I went there and went, huh? I wonder if Alan Tudyk's the voice of that chicken.
Who voices this chicken?
Sorry.
Yes, but yeah. I mean, Firefly was just amazing. I love the sets. I love every character. It was just, they had such great, like, behind the like their backstories, and just everything about the show is phenomenal. So I was very excited when they announced they were going to do the movie.
Now, what kind of show is this? Just in case somebody has not ever watched Firefly or heard of it.
Like a space cowboy type thing.
Western.
Yeah, it's, you've got ex-military, that...
From a galactic civil war, basically, that took place.
And he
he being Nathan Fillion's character of Malcolm.
Right. Sorry, we're talking like we're assuming you, of course, know this. And he turns and becomes a brown coat. Mm-hmm. And he just takes random jobs. Because
after the war's over, he has a ship.
Yes.
That he gets that he calls... It's a Firefly class ship, hence the name of the show there.
Right.
Which he named Serenity after the Battle of Serenity Valley. It's Serenity Valley, yeah. In the show.
Yeah. And he has another one of his military people, Zoe. She served in the military with him. She is on the ship as well. And then her husband, which is Wash.
Alan Tudyk's character.
And you have Jane, which is phenomenal. I love him.
Well, you also have, of course, the brother and sister duo of River and Simon. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you do have Shepard on there as well.
Oh, yeah,
And
Shepard.
you cannot forget, of course, Kaylee.
Kaylee, yep, the mechanic.
On the ship. And finally, there is somebody else who pops in every now and then.
Inara.
So you had a very colorful cast of characters, and a lot of those. Kaylee's the ship's mechanic, strong female role again. Once again, his second in command, Zoe, strong female role again.
Yep.
And one of the
typical roles that males would be.
Yes. I mean, he's still there, but I mean, obviously, and Inara is
she's a companion.
Companion. Yes, I was like, they have a word for it, and I'm not going to say it. I'm going to say something far worse. But
and she's
a very strong female role that, is able to handle herself and is just kind of... She's more along with them for their company than they need her more than she needs them, I guess, at times. So I guess that would make sense of that. And of course you got River, who's a living weapon, thanks to... Well, hold on. Let's actually stop real quick, because we could devote an entire episode to Firefly, but I do want to take a second to point out something. Because this gives me an excuse to finally talk about an anime that I actually enjoyed. It is fact that this anime directly influenced this show. The anime is called Outlaw Star. It is a late 90s cowboy space western-esque thing, very similar to Cowboy Bebop. But there are scenes that Whedon took directly from this show. From this show to put into there as an obvious homage. Outlaw Star is one of my favorite animes. I love it, and I'd love to talk about it, but I think I will save that for more when we discuss Firefly in that far-off podcast episode in the future. Which will happen. It's just all a matter of when.
Right.
So I just wanted to take a moment just to say that this gave me an excuse to talk about Outlaw Star, because otherwise it would just be me just bringing up Outlaw Star to talk about it. So I got mine in.
Yay.
But we need to refocus our efforts now back on Whedon and what he does fantastically well.
Yes.
Which that leads us to the movie Serenity, which was the follow-up. And what did he do in that movie? Killed people.
Well, of course.
That we cared about.
Well, yeah. But it happens. I mean, that was...
Sorry, spoiler warning for a movie that's...
I know.
Old.
The problem... I mean, not the problem, really. The thing is, you gotta kill people because it's just not normal for everybody to survive. I mean, people are going to die.
Here's the thing, though. He does such a good job of building these characters up and doing such a great job with that's what it hits at the heartstrings when they die. It's just not just some random character dying. It is somebody that you know it should not be biting the dust. Like, you don't want to, because you know how much they have on their plate, or you know what burdens they have to bear, or what they're trying to, the struggle they have.
I think that's what made Serenity so good, though, is that I can't see it any other way. And if you haven't seen Serenity yet, we're not going to sit here and say who died, but it's just
a person.
A few people. The way he did it was really good, and so each death that did happen was very heartfelt, and quite a few weepy tears from me, at least. But it was very well done, though. It wasn't pointless death. So,
all right. We're going to move off from Firefly and Serenity now, because, like I said, I'm sure
we'll keep going, yes.
We will revisit this as just a full discussion one day. But he also did a very influential run on a comic series. Don't know if you heard of it, X-Men. Mm-hmm. He did Astonishing X-Men, yes. which I will point this out, followed up a very controversial and amazing run by Grant Morrison. So he followed that up by trying to reestablish the X-Men after, like I said, very interesting take by Grant Morrison. Mm-hmm. He led with the character of Kitty Pryde, had, of course, Wolverine and a lot of other people, but he did a phenomenal job with these characters and did a great job writing on it. He did not do a super long run on it. I think it was around 24. Yeah, I was about to say it was 20-some issues, but it's 24. And he did a great job with it. Other comics he has contributed to is one of your favorite comic series.
Yeah, he did an arc for Runaways.
Which was Brian K. Vaughan. He did that. And just to point out, Astonishing X-Men was taken over by Warren Ellis afterwards. So definitely, I mean, high caliber stuff there that he worked on. And an interesting thing, the inspiration for Buffy actually came from the X-Men. Do you know which character, Allie?
I don't.
Kitty Pryde.
Okay.
Kitty Pryde actually was the the strong female character that he wanted to have for Buffy. Actually came from Kitty Pryde as a character. Of course, way back when he was probably younger reading the comics, and he used her, of course, like I said, when he did his Astonishing X-Men run.
Okay.
So once again, strong female characters. I hope you're seeing a theme with this. But he's done some other stuff since then. As we mentioned, Dollhouse. Yes. Another thing that is a lot of fun, and once again, had certain people returning. Nathan Fillion for Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, which...
So can we take a moment to talk about that show? That musical?
Sure thing.
That was actually... He was writing that during the writer's strike. I don't know if you remember when that happened years ago. It messed up my one season of Heroes. But we won't go on about that. But it was great. It was well put together. It was just a cheesy little...
It was fun.
It was a love story.
It was fun.
That had a tragic ending. But it was very fun. And the cast was, of course, wonderful. You had Nathan Fillion, Neil Patrick Harris...
Felicia Day. Which, on that note, if you know what a certain one of those cast members is up to currently...
We've talked about that.
Hint, hint. You might want to check out what she is currently working on for a possible nod to what we are discussing right now. Just saying. Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah, we mentioned it before.
Well, I didn't want to spoil the fact that Neil Patrick Harris has a cameo in one of the episodes.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, oops.
Speaking of Neil Patrick Harris, he's great in the new Lemony Snicket's. But we'll stop going off on our, I watched the first episode and I really liked it, by the way. But anyway, really, really cool little musical. Definitely surprised me when it came out, and I loved it. So great. Check it out if you have not seen it.
So before we get to, I guess, the final... Well, there's two parts of this final little arc of what Joss Whedon has done. Cabin in the Woods.
Yes.
If you have not seen this movie...
Great.
It is amazing, but I want to say this right now. I don't think you can truly appreciate Cabin in the Woods if you are not somebody who's seen other horror movies.
Right. It definitely calls to other ones.
Mainly Evil Dead. Any of them, maybe
mainly.
not. Maybe not the remake. No, it's because it sets up very similarly. But the whole thing is, I'm not trying. Okay, spoiler alert. 1 minute, and go. Basically, this movie I feel is the focus point for every other. Every horror movie can technically take place in the world that this movie creates. And I'm not going to spoil really what happens, but basically, there's a certain point where there's no holds bar and just everything's a go, and it's amazing. There's a lot of Easter eggs if you're fans of horror movies. There's a lot of Easter eggs if you're a fan of Joss Whedon.
Well, talking about the Tommy Westfall theory,
there's a lot of connections that link all of the
that's
stuff.
What I'm saying.
And there's actually a Whedonverse theory too that all of Joss Whedon's shows are actually connected. Not getting into that today though.
Right.
So that one, if you're a fan of horror movies, check it out. If you're just a fan of Joss Whedon, check it out. It is a great movie. I loved it. I thought it was a great love letter.
It checks all the boxes of a typical horror movie.
And it kind of also checks all the boxes of why typical horror movies might all be the way they are. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
So.
Without spoiling too much.
His time at Marvel now.
Yes.
So we've already discussed...
Well, the big screen Marvel.
Big screen, yes. Big screen Marvel. Sorry, comic Marvel. Okay. So big screen Marvel. He directed The Avengers, which we have kind of already discussed.
Wrote and directed
The Avengers.
Yes.
Which, as was already pointed out, I think he did a phenomenal job with the Hulk in this. Just personally, the Hulk was a character that had a rough patch going into this movie, so
yeah.
I thought he did an amazing job with it personally. Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow, I think was done phenomenally well too.
She was. A lot of people didn't like the way he portrayed her. In Age of Ultron.
Oh no, I'm talking about the first one right now.
Oh, I know. I was just saying.
We'll get to Age of Ultron. we gotta get through this first. But another character he built up that had been kind of interwoven and kind of the linchpin of the Marvel universe, Agent Coulson.
Yes.
Who, I don't think I need to do a spoiler alert for this. Bit it pretty hard, and actually is the reason they got together. But he was a character that was just so well developed. He was a little fanboy of Captain America. I thought that was a nice little touch. You know, he was somebody that everyone appreciated and everything. And Joss Whedon, as he always does, ripped him right out of our hearts.
Once again, but that's what brought the team together.
Exactly. So
it was well placed.
so you have him doing a good job of building up the Hulk's character. You have him doing a good job of giving Black Widow something to do, and I mean she's a character that just wasn't standing around just being just eye candy. She was actually a contributing member of the team.
Right.
I thought in this, and Coulson, I mean, he was somebody that everyone knew because he was the one that was linking everything together.
Yes.
So he did a phenomenal job. I thought it was really well done, and then he went on to go do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where Coulson was brought back.
Right.
And
which I remember when that was first announced, we were like, what?
I remember that there was something said that he did not like that Coulson was alive, and I was like, how does that work? 'Cause I thought apparently later on he regretted the decision of bringing him back. Now, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has actually gone on to do a lot of stuff. Joss Whedon is, I think, not involved really in anything with it right now, though, aside from just helping create it.
He does do episodes here and there and that sort of thing.
But I meant being the head writer or anything. He's just kind of fills in when he needs to.
Yes.
Or when he wants to. Now we move on to probably the controversial portion of this.
Age of Ultron. Yes.
Age of Ultron.
Yes.
So I guess you want to go first on this one real quick?
Well, I just wanted to say, you know how we've been talking about strong female characters, this and that, and he's been praised for his work of, having a very feminist background, being kind of like what we said earlier about his mother. His mother was a huge radical feminist, and so he's brought that into a lot of his stuff. He always tries to have empowering roles for females and that sort of thing, but he did get a lot of crap from a lot of people of how he portrayed the Black Widow, well, not the, Black Widow in Age of Ultron. They just didn't think that he did her character justice in the second movie. They didn't care for it as much. So he normally does get a lot of credit for it, but, like I said, he did, that's one part of the movie.
Possibly another missed opportunity with Scarlet Witch, too, being there as well. But then again, I'm just kind of going on a quick little note. Is it something that maybe we're just being hard on it because we expect that from him now? To do those strong female roles, and when he doesn't, it's kind of a, what do you think you're doing?
I didn't have a problem with it, but yes, I guess that's why a lot of other people maybe are like that.
I just wanted to bring that up as sort of, I'm not trying to defend him, like, oh, he did a fine job with this movie or anything. It has its issues, but...
It wasn't terrible.
Here's the thing. It's not the worst movie ever.
Right.
But I think that maybe some outside influences on it, possibly Marvel trying to build their universe, setting too high expectations for it, certain things like that might have contributed to it. I don't mind the movie. I like the Hulk and Hulkbuster fight. I thought was very well done. I think certain parts of it work. It's just kind of one of those. I feel like that was just moving the. They sadly took what could have been a very interesting story with Ultron and just kind of moved the universe of Marvel forward
and
instead
I think
of
Marvel has that problem recently.
Yeah. I mean, we've discussed this kind of previously. It's not like we're saying these are bad movies or it's bad that they're doing this. We understand what they're trying to accomplish, but it was one of those. I felt that the movie was more moving a narrative forward. Instead of focusing on what was going,
the story,
the actual, because Ultron's a very interesting character. I think that it was seeing him on screen was very cool.
Yeah.
Though it was a little bit of a letdown that Age of Ultron was more of a weekend of Ultron. It seemed like at times.
Right.
But he did something that I think was very unique. Hawkeye is not someone who everyone goes was their favorite character.
No.
Though I did leave that movie having a new appreciation for the character of Hawkeye.
No, I get it. Yeah.
And I really appreciate that because I like Jeremy Renner. I think Hawkeye's an interesting character. Even before this, I kind of liked him, but it was one of those characters that it was like, oh, he's going to be the one to bite it.
Right.
Sort of thing. He was always, when it was a discussion of who's gonna die, it was him. And he did an amazing job of humanizing him and everything, showing that he had a family, all this stuff behind the scenes.
Right.
Of what is going on with that character, and then you think he's gonna be. You're like, oh my gosh, he's gonna be the one to bite it. He's gonna be the one to bite it, and it's Quicksilver. Which that was a
spoiler.
Whatever. That was sort of an interesting twist to the regular Joss Whedon build up a character thing. Not saying there wasn't enough character development for Quicksilver. It was just if you watched any other thing or read any other thing or just anything he's done before. You kind of were like, oh no, Hawkeye's gonna bite it,
right?
But he didn't, and like I said, we can discuss at a different time what possible issues this had with.
If we were just focusing on this movie, yes.
But now we get to what he's up to currently. He has a World War II movie that he's apparently working on right now, but that's not what we wanted to talk about today. We have established he does strong female characters,
right?
He apparently is going to be doing Batgirl for the DC side of things.
Right.
And I think that this is basically he's been given a blank slate to go on, if I'm correct in this. I think the only thing he really has to do with this is probably build on the universe of, Gotham and, possibly some stuff to do with the Bat family. But I think this is something he could do amazingly well.
Yeah.
Please don't kill Gordon. But anyways.
Aww.
But anyways.
Yeah, leave Gordon alone.
But anyways, I think he could do an amazing job with this.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's going to be Barbara Gordon as Batgirl. I don't know if that's been 100% confirmed. I'm assuming they're going with that because I've heard that it's the new 52 is what they want to focus on.
Okay.
But there's, of course, the whole Joker crippled her thing. So I don't know if they're
going...
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go with that approach. Or if it happened, she's recovered from it since then, and we could get flashbacks to it. I would like for them not to go on any of the Killing Joke stuff. I know a lot of people love that, but I kind of would rather see what he can do on his own with the story.
Right.
Because I think that would be some of the best things for him.
Yeah.
With that. I think a strong female character you could do a great job with. Your thoughts on this?
I mean, I'm excited. Don't get me wrong. I'm a little hesitant of having a Batgirl movie by herself.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's going to have heavy influences from other characters from the series. But, and I know that's coming from a female, so maybe I should be all female, hear me roar, excited to see a solo Batgirl, but I don't know how I feel about that. I'm definitely, he's doing it, I'm excited about it, but I definitely feel like it's going to have, Nightwing or Batman or...
You feel like it won't just be Supergirl. I mean...
Batgirl.
Maybe Supergirl will be in it. Why not?
Hey, let's do a team up.
So I think that you're right, that it would probably benefit from having another more established character to maybe draw in people. Though I'd like to think that Joss Whedon's writing and his ability to do characters can push that forward.
Right.
So I'm
just asking,
mm-hmm.
Did you know there was another DC lady that he actually had wrote a script for?
I did, actually. Yeah. I can't believe we missed talking about that during his earlier work. Wonder Woman, apparently. He penned a script for Wonder Woman. I don't think that has anything to do with the one that is currently on its way into theaters, but it's very
I think
interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah,
Maybe some elements from that might pop up again in Batgirl. Who knows?
I don't know.
But anyways, we just wanted to take this moment to, kind of say that we really... Obviously, we've just discussed Joss Whedon for a very, very long time, and we just want to go real quick to some comments that we've gotten from other people on this. So, all right. So we have, of course, David Ginsburg.
Yay!
Host of
David.
Host of the Tales from the Fandom.
Yes.
And he put... I know he's a fan of Buffy. I know he is. I definitely know he is. But he put...
Well, he put, it'd be easier to answer to name the least favorite thing he has done. Age of Ultron for me.
Maybe our discussion today might turn that around for you, David?
Maybe. Too many favorites to throw out there. Buffy, Firefly, Angel, the Fray comic.
Which we didn't mention, sadly.
The Fray comic is actually set in the future of the Buffy universe. Mm-hmm. And it's based off of the Slayer Malaka Fray. Or Malaka Fray. I'm not quite sure how to say it. But, yes. That is one that he has wrote in case you don't know what that is. Astonishing X-Men. Runaways. So much goodness. So, yes, David. So much goodness.
Yes. And we had another comment from, actually, Chris Zenger, who I know kind of shares a name with me, possibly, because he's my older brother. And he actually did our graphic that we... use the Zeng This one with the comic book looking explosion. He's the one that actually did that up for us. And if you want to check out any other work he does, you can check out Zenger Photo on Instagram. All one word. Yeah, at Zenger Photo, all one word on Instagram. So he put Angel. So obviously a fan of the successor to the Buffy series.
Yes.
So this was a fun discussion. If you guys want to weigh in and tell us your favorite thing that Joss Whedon's done, definitely mention that to us as well. You can always tweet at us and all that fun goodness. But speaking of fun goodness, don't know if I pointed this out before on the podcast. I used to play Magic a lot.
Me too.
A lot. and I've been in and out of it several times. Well,
we used to do couples tournaments.
Yeah, we did one where it was a doubles,
and
I used slivers, and you used, and then that got banned from ever being played again.
Yeah, we killed it.
Anyways, so roundabout way, I'm actually participating in a weird tournament.
Yes.
For the next few months that involves it, where you basically kind of self-draft. It's weird because you're only allowed to use certain cards. Like,
that's interesting.
You basically buy X number of cards, and you can only build decks from those X number of cards, and you're able to add new packs. But like, let's say I go out and buy another pack, I can't add that to it. I can only use from the sets I've opened. Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting way to do this tournament, and it's actually being done I'm doing it online. But anyways,
that's where I think it's interesting, is the online thing.
Yeah,
like we've done drafts before.
Yeah,
but this is to me it's intriguing.
But the new series, that's the other reason. Mm-hmm. Like, I was asked about it, and I've normally brush it off, but the new series, I'm
Amonkhet.
Amonkhet.
That's what we're saying.
Yes, that's how we're saying it.
Yes.
Very Egyptian themed. It seems like it's once again we're not a podcast focused on tabletop games. We're not against discussing them though, which I'm sure will probably come up more.
I could discuss tabletop all the time, but
yes. I'm sure we'll discuss certain things, Munchkins possibly, stuff like that. But But that being said, Ellie actually picked up some cards as well, and we might be doing some YouTube content.
Well, I didn't want to be left out, and I got super jealous when you started doing that, and I wanted to get my own pack.
So she got her own pack.
Yes.
That's going to be the one. I mean, we've got older cards we're going to use, so look forward to some YouTube content possibly coming out. Search Zeng This, YouTube, and I'll try to actually update that. I haven't been updating it with our podcast recently, so shame on me, but I'll get updated and look for a possible matches between the two of us and other tabletop games being featured.
You want to learn how to play Magic?
We're probably not going to teach people. We're probably going to get taught ourselves probably from some of the newer stuff.
True, yeah, because whenever they change stuff, it's like relearning it.
Yes, and so we're excited to actually, be playing Magic sort of.
Yeah, let us know if you watch it, if you like that kind of thing.
I'm limiting myself. I'm warning myself now and putting it on recording that I'm limiting myself with this series to only buy for the tournament I'm playing in.
Okay.
I'm just saying. But yeah, we'll do that. It's a lot of fun. You'll see different decks that we've created. Mm-hmm. And I'm currently in the process of creating an older black deck, which I'm not a big fan of Swamp personally, but
I love me some Swamp.
But to counteract Ellie's evil, I am pouring all my hate, malice, and anger into a deck. I'm forging the one deck to rule them all. Nah, actually, I'm joking. It won't rule them all, but it should be fun. I mean,
he likes my Infect deck.
I hate Infect.
If you guys have played Magic,
years ago, it would have had to have been years ago for Infect.
Yeah.
Ugh. I know we're running long with shout-outs and everything, but I want to make sure to give one to Scott Gotleski for being on our Read This for Copperhead last week. So definitely making sure to give a shout-out to him. You can, of course, find him on Twitter, and you can find him on our episode. He also hosts his own episode, The Tig Show, or The Illustrious Gentleman, with Ryan Cody. And I just want to say this. Ryan Cody also has another podcast that he does aside from The Illustrious Gentleman, called My Patronus is a Podcast, which is a chapter-by-chapter discussion of Harry Potter. So if you're a fan of that, definitely check that out. We're going to kind of close... Actually, no, I got one more announcement to make.
Oh.
You guys are in luck this week.
Oh.
What is happening this week? Because today's May 1st, so...
Oh, yes.
May the 4th be with you.
Yes, Star Wars.
Well, we are already doing, of course, Star Wars-related stuff. If you have anything from the Expanded Universe or Legends you want us to talk about, definitely leave something, because we're getting a lot of stuff together for that.
You can never have too much Star Wars.
So that will be our Star Wars discussion this month. But I used the Force, searched my feelings, and knew it to be true. I actually was joined by another podcast. I had to go to a galaxy far, far away and then down the hall.
Oh, nice.
Yes, so nice. I was joined by Chet from down the hall, and on May the 4th, we will be putting out a very special edition of our Star Wars discussions.
Yes.
It will just be numbered as a normal episode. Ellie was not involved with it, which will be explained in the episode.
Yes, it's fine, it's fine.
But we are discussing...
It's still great.
...theories on what's going on in Star Wars. On what all of the stuff from the Last Jedi trailer means. Me and him discuss that. It's a great episode, and we will have that out on May the 4th.
Yes.
So hopefully you're able to click subscribe and use your Force powers to be able to guide you to listen to that episode.
Heck yeah.
But I'm warning you, we do discuss possible spoilers. We don't know anything more than anyone else.
Well, they're theories, so...
They're theories, but the problem is we could be right.
Yes.
Or the good thing is we could be right.
Oh, yes.
So, who knows? It's a great discussion. Like I said, definitely check that out. There'll be more information about that to come.
Award-winning podcast.
Yes, they are. So, with that, you can, of course, if you want updates on that, you can always go to our Twitter account.
Yep.
Which is @Zeng This, and find out more information on there. I'll be updating on there, as well as our Instagram as well, @Zeng This Podcast. And you can, of course, listen to that podcast that we're going to be having out on May 4th, or any other podcast we've done, and possibly any other podcast we've done, and future episodes we're doing on iTunes,
SoundCloud,
Stitcher.
Yep.
Google Play, and make sure to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. We'd love getting them. It helps us out a lot. You can also, as I said earlier, we're going to have some more content available for YouTube soon. I am making it my personal goal to work on updating all the information for that soon. So you can find us, just search YouTube, subscribe. We'll be, like I said, you might see us playing some Magic and having some interesting discussions while doing it.
Yep.
So you can, of course, YouTube Zeng This. Just search Zeng This on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can also find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Zeng This. If you want to contribute to the podcast, you can, of course, go to Patreon.
www.patreon.com/ZingThis.
If you want to join the conversation, you can always go to Facebook and find us Zeng This.
Right. And if you want to reach out to us, email us.
Directly.
Yep. You can go to zingthis@gmail.com.
Finally, DJ Golden Boy,
89.
play us out. Michael Bay sound.
Right. That was the cue for the show. I thought you wanted me to make one. I'm sorry. You must be talking about call.